So basically what I want to do is for all the people that are interested in real estate, I want to like create these videos for you as well as for myself so I don't forget them because I have a tendency to forget things. So as of most recent, I'm reading about commercial real estate. So I'm reading Brandon Turner's book, The Multimillionaire, Volume 2. Let's see. So The Multifamily Millionaire, Volume 2. Create generational wealth by investing in large multifamily real estate. The Multifamily Millionaire 2. And it's written by Brian Murray and Brandon Turner. I believe this part of the book, the majority of it was written by Brian Murray. And yeah, so I'm reading this one right now. And I would like to take you through the different chapters and things that I've been learning. So we'll start with this. Okay, so there's different types of investment properties that you can go after in commercial. So you got to figure out exactly which ones you want to do. This is specifically towards multifamily, and in that section, there's other types as well. So the first thing that you need to do is you have CCC, which is for crystal clear criteria. You got to know exactly the areas of things that you're interested in investing in, and I'm going to give to you what is outlined in the book for the different types that are there. And obviously there's like multiple different types and stuff, right? So it's kind of just like what you're interested in doing. So there's high rises, mid rises. So high rise is anything that is 9 or more floors with an elevator. Mid rise is anything with an elevator in like an urban area, usually less than 9 floors. Garden style is 1, 2, or 3-star apartments that have like a garden-like setting in a suburban or rural locations. So they may not have an elevator. You see a lot of these in Sacramento, like if you go like towards Folsom or anywhere out there. And other types of like apartment complexes, that's what they'll have, and they could have set number of units. Even in Austin, when I was living there, that was technically a garden style complex. And then walk up, there's 4 to 6 story buildings without an elevator. So if there's no elevator and there's 4 to 6 stories, it's called a walk up. Manufactured housing communities, so we're talking mobile home parks. Brandon Turner has built and created a lot of wealth from these types of communities. There's also special purpose housing like student housing, senior housing, and subsidized housing. So subsidized being like low income, senior housing meaning like catering specifically to the elderly, and then student housing, of course, like usually these are by like colleges and stuff like that. And there's 4 types of classifications that these multifamily properties can be. You have Class A, which is the highest quality, constructed within the last 10 years, the most attractive locations, they present well and command high rates generally. And there's Class B, likely to have been constructed in the past 20 years, good quality with deferred maintenance, and both A and B, this is important, both A and B generally are invested by larger institutional buyers and lenders. So, you might have to go to them if you want to acquire these types of properties. If you're doing stuff, without working with larger institutions, then Class C and D might be better. So what that looks like is for Class C, you have older with more limited or dated amenities. Finished fixtures and applications are probably outdated or often dated, more challenging to finance, but they also tend to offer more opportunity to the value of improvements, right? So what you're looking at is like it might be more difficult to get funding. Your project might have to have more there, and you might have to explain a bit more about like how you're going to do this and have your strong team to be able to back you up on this. And maybe the rates will be adjusted for the risk because it's more risky to be able to get that financing for it. However, if you can, terrific. You just have to play with the numbers. Class D, older and the less desired locations as well. Distress due to combination of low occupancy, crime rate, and overall just bad management can be the thing as well. So these are more challenging to finance, but also they tend to offer the most opportunity for value add. So if you have bad management, you can bring on your own a new property management team. If there's low occupancy, you can bring more people in there. There's ways that you can add more value to that specific area. Go with partners, or at least people that know and have worked in these types of projects before, if you're taking people and wanting to say, hey, let's go from class A to class D stuff, they might not know exactly that smooth transition. You probably want to have people that have done some class D types of investment properties under their belt and work with them. Now, here's some pricing. So class A and B can usually get financed for up to 75 to 80% of the loan value. Simple example, let's assume that you have access to 2.3 mil and 30,000 in closing costs plus 270,000 for post-closing cash needed. So that's a total of 300,000. Now, 2.3 million minus 300,000 equals 2 million. So you take that 2 million and that takes over the 20% that you're going to need for the down payment. Remember, you're able to take a loan for anywhere between 75 to 80%. So that 20% is 2 million. So what's 100%? That's 10 million. So you're going to be looking for properties around 10 million. So that could be 6 million to 12 million. For class C and D, the same amount of cash that you have will go less due to the additional risk factor. So instead of going from 6 to 12 million in your range, you might be going down to 5 to 10 million. Now, the sizes. So let's say that you're looking for class C properties without an apartment priced at 8 million in the market value, where you have an average price per unit of class C at 80,000. So you can calculate the amount of units that you would be looking for once you have the amount of value that you're able to raise and the lending amount, right? So once you have those numbers, you can then work backwards. So let's say for class C, let's say you want your market's 8 mil, right? You want an $8 million property. And you know that for class C in your area is $80,000 per unit. You know now that if you divide 8 million by 80,000, you're looking at 100 units that you're looking for. So you're looking for 100 unit properties. So now you can go on and say, okay, what are the 100 unit properties in my area for the class C, right? Occupancy. So most lenders like to see at least a minimum of 85% occupancy. Once you drop below that, your borrowing options get a little bit more difficult and you're taking on additional risk. Yeah, so Brian Murray in the book, he talks about how they had a lower occupancy when they were going through the process, and it was more difficult to get loans, and then they wanted to add the occupancy so that they get more people and then get the loan, so that way the loan comes in with that additional thing. So target returns, how much you're looking to make back. So usually you don't discuss this to the brokers or anyone else helping you find the deal. The amount of returns only usually stays with the investors, and you speak to the investors of what those returns are. The reason is because if you start talking to the brokers about those types of the money that you've been making on these deals, then they're going to negotiate and like, oh, if you're making that much, then how about you give us this much, or whatever the case is. Or they'll know how to shop it and sell the deal somewhere else. All right. So sample criteria. So let's say you have a location, right? You want to go primary and secondary cities throughout the southeast with populations trending upwards. Population, we have growth in the area. Type of class, you want class C, garden style, or walk-up workforce housing with repositioned opportunities. Age type is like 1980s construction or newer, but we'll consider others on a case-by-case basis. And your price point is 5 to 12 million with 1.5 mil to 3 million in funds provided. That's for renovations and everything else. 100 units or larger is what you're looking for. Cap rate, market rates. And the value add that you're looking for, looking to acquire assets and opportunities to value add through physical improvement or better property management. So Brian actually goes into a specific deal that he did where the property management was terrible. They were actually stealing and siphoning stuff, and they would actually quote contractors more and then pocket the money. Things were really bad. So one of the first things that he did once he had it under closing is that he got rid of the property management company, and then he worked with a newer one, and then they also helped get better vendors and stuff like that to help them with the property. And just by doing that, it saved significantly on the cost of the theft that was going on just there. And as far as physical improvements and stuff like that, usually during that period, you could do some renovations as well. So Yeah. And I think it's important to add, like, there's different types of ways that you can like go about these. So like, we're talking specifically multifamily, but like you can even like motels or something like that. If it's like a one bedroom or two bedroom, and like just turn them into apartment complexes and stuff like that. Like I've seen like areas in different types of cities where people have made apartment units out of like something that was originally like a motel, right? So you can do these types of things where you're like shifting, like, oh, we're taking a Motel 6 and then making it into an apartment complex, right? So those could be big value adds. You have to try to like learn to see like what is that amount that you can make on that transition and what are the key things to look for. And ideally, while you're looking there, figure out who's doing it and seeing like, hey, if they're trying to partner or work on these types of opportunities. That's my thinking about this. Like a lot of people, they want to work with you, and people are generally happy to speak with you. So I'd recommend doing that. So that's the first chapter of this book, and I'll go into more chapters in a bit. Thanks.